This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello and welcome everyone to Friday Prime Time here, coming to you from Lime Rock Park in the United States. And well, we have another week of exciting, thrilling racing coming to you from our Friday Prime Time series, which is the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. And what a series it's been so far. What Friday Prime Time racing we've been having. And this Lime Rock Park circuit is going to give us some excitement. Hello everybody, Paul Smith here, and I'm not joined by anyone else on commentary today, it's just myself. I'm solo in this one, so unfortunately Connery not available today. So yep, there's the conditions up on screen for you. It is 23 degrees air temperature, 31 degrees track temperature, partly cloudy skies. And it's this 1.4 mile circuit, only one left-hand corner on this particular venue. And well, why don't we give you a little bit of a preview of what's to expect and join our hot lap, our VRS hot lap, very kindly brought to you by VRS, and it's going to be Martin Kroenke taking us on board for a lap here. So it's on the exit of the final corner there. Down the pit straight, you want to be getting up to your top speed down here. Look for your brake marker down through the gears. Get your apex early here. Hold the middle of the corner because you don't want to go too far out wide. Get the late apex there out of the first two turns. And then here's the other left-hander on the circuit, this long sweeping left-hander. Get the late apex again there. Important to get your speed through this corner. Use all the curb on the left there. This corner and the next, not really anything to write home about. And now onto the brakes. Get the nose down. Get it turned in for up and over. And you do take off up over the top of the hill there. Penultimate corner already on the lap here. Swing it in nice and early on the power. Plunge downhill, little brake, little lift of the accelerator, and through the final corner we go for that lap, brought to you by VRS Virtual Racing School. And well, make sure you check out their hot laps and all their tutorials on virtualracingschool.com for everything here. But we're about ready here for the grid in today's event. So it's Brandon Hawkin who's on pole position, just 0.08 of a second ahead of Cohen Klopman. Jamie Fluke, Northern Irishman, in third place with Scotty McQueen rounding out your top four. Alfonso Mulas and Jack Sedgwick are row number 3 with Brian Lockwood and Ivan Ajonas, row number 4 for them. Row 5, Diogo Pinto and Tony Cabello with Alberto Rodriguez and Kane Halliburton in 12th place. 13th is Daniel Araujo with Roque Garcia, and then finally Liam McNinch in your 15th spot, the last of your runners here. 15 car grid for you on today's race. And well, we're going to be seeing an interesting race here. Overtaking is difficult around this circuit. So the drivers, they've got a full pace lap here. It's only a short lap when you consider the qualifying lap. Pole position was a 53.3. That just tells you what this track is like. But drivers now pulling away, trying to get as much heat into those tyres as possible for the start of the race. Not a lot of breathing room around this track. And really, it's down the main straight, down the pit straight, down into turn 1 as your main overtaking opportunity. But you can make moves through this section here into the left-hander. You've got to be a little bit brave. Get the elbows out, and we've seen plenty of that in the last few weeks. So as the leaders go through, there behind the trees there, that's a great camera shot, is that one? As we go along here, plenty of trees around this circuit, and it's not the widest of circuits. You can see you're only about 2.5, three, maybe 3.5 cars width through there. This is going to be an interesting point where cars can lose control up over the hill. As they're getting ready now, penultimate corner, the driver's now starting to bunch up. And Hawken, Master Movano driver, at the front, holding pace. He's the one who dictates when they all go. Through the final corner, that Porsche safety car will pull off to the right into pit road. There he goes. And they're away they go then. Early start for them. The green flag is out. The race is on here in Friday prime time. Down to turn number 1. Side-by-side action all the way through your field. Will they all make it through? Turns number 1 and 2. A little bit of a bump there. That looked like Halliburton getting into the back of one of your drivers further down. Everybody's still behaving as they're going through to start with. Looking good, side-by-side action further back. That's Brian Lockwood. Still side-by-side there with Scotty McQueen into this right-hander for the first time. Up and over the hill. Car gets light, and now Scotty McQueen coming under pressure from Jack Sedgwick here. Sedgwick putting the pressure on early on. At the front, they're trying to break away. We've got side-by-side as well. Just behind Daniel Horaggio, getting past Cabello, but in the lead at the end of the first lap. Already the end of the first lap, there's Brandon Hawken. Cole Klopman under pressure now from Mulas. Mulas, the number 11. Go on board with him now. And Mulas looking to make some moves early on in this race. You can see up front as well how Jamie Fluke is putting the pressure on Brandon Hawken. Come out the right-hander through these little right-left kink onto the brakes. Back end will still be lively on this and possibly the next lap as well, as they're still getting tyre temperature and pressures built up. Through the penultimate corner, plunk underneath the bridge, plunge downhill into the final corner. And already you're at the end of the lap. It's a fast and frenetic lap. Drivers running wide behind. As they're going to go side by side, Sedgwick with the opportunity on Scotty McQueen now into turn number 1. Can he hook that inside line? Trying to hold it around the outside is McQueen. He's got the inside for the next corner, which could be crucial. Sedgwick, though, he can hang it out if he wants to, but he can't. He's having to slot back in behind McQueen. And you just get the feeling that Sedgwick maybe just has a little edge in pace over Scotty McQueen here in the early going. Of course, 30-minute race as always each week. You can see cars taking off there, getting wheels off the ground, and now Sedgwick coming under pressure from Rodriguez, and Rodriguez coming under pressure from Pinto as well. Just a queue of traffic behind as they head on down the pit straight once again. Rodriguez running wide. We've got cars scattering all over further back there. Can they all manage to get through? Yes, they do. So everybody's still running there, and contact, and it's Rodriguez off, and so too is Arjonas as well. We'll try and get a replay of that up on the screen. We're on board with Ivan then, looks to the inside. This is quite a long way back. Oh, that gap's always going to close there, Ivan. And off he goes into the grass. Back up and running though. No one out of this race so far. But you can see that battle pack really formed all the way down your field. Battle for the lead is still on. 0.2 of a second as they go across the line here. Fluke looking to the outside. Can he make the move? No, he can't. Not for the moment, but he has got the fastest lap of the race. And these two seem to be holding each other up here because Colin Klopman is starting to get that little bit closer to Fluke, and he's bringing along Mulas and also Lockwood as well. I've seen Brian Lockwood have some interesting races throughout this season so far. Up over the hill once again, you can see the cars getting light, wanted to take off there. Drivers having to control the cars. Here we are on board Jamie Fluke. What can he do? Is he content sitting behind? Does he feel that he's faster than Hawkin? Hawkin's going to go defensive here, up into 6th gear, top gear, and Fluke looks to the outside, then backs off. He's obviously not got alongside far enough to try and make a move and make it stick. So Fluke having to stay where he is for the time being, but that gap now between the front two and 3rd place has really closed up. Colin Klopman there, 3rd place, half a second between them. You can see on the lap gaps how Klopman 3.5 tenths of a second on the last lap. Of course, don't forget, Fluke almost taking off there. He's really pushing that car, but don't forget that these drivers, it's the new tyre model, of course. It depends how they use the cars, how they set up the cars. Do they use the tyres up early on and then struggle on? It's who can look after tyres the best. Here comes Mulas just looking on Klopman. He's not making any moves for the time being as they head into turn 1 once again. Hanging on to the side of the car then for Klopman as we go around. The one and only left-hander. The Benelux driver avoiding that curb. That curb can spit you out wide on the exit of that right-hander there. So you've got to be careful with that one. Onto the brakes. Through the right once again. We'll stay on board. You can hear the engine note change as they go up over the top of the rise. And this top 5 really just settling themselves down a little bit. I think everybody else has just settled down that little bit now. Get into the flow of the race and see how they get on. I was saying that McQueen runs wide. That was lucky for him that Cedric wasn't close enough to take advantage of that. But you can see the disadvantage of getting your line wrong through the final corner and how crucial it is to carry the speed. McQueen and Cedric have pulled away slightly from Pinto, Halliburton et al. Let's go through this right-hander, heading towards the hill once again. Through the right-hander, up the rise here. Look at the cars kicking a wheel up over the top of that rise. And through once again. These laps are flying by in this race. This is one good thing about Lime Rock. If you don't get the opportunity to overtake on one lap, well, you've not got long to wait for your next opportunity, which comes along very shortly. This lead battle though, look at this. Klopman, it's Hawkin, Fluke, Klopman, Mulas, Lockwood, all together there, covered by a second. 1 second covering this top 5 of the field. Through the right-hander, they all go. Hawkin then. Through the right. Carry the speed up over the rise. Penultimate corner once again. Oh, Fluke just running it a little bit wider, missing his apex ever so slightly. And that's the thing with this track. If you miss your apex slightly, it can cost you in the next corner. And I think that's what Fluke found out. Mulas looking out. Of course, if you're following in a queue of cars and it's quite hot, temperatures is going to be a crucial thing. We'll look back at Klopman. You can see how close he's getting here. He's going. Again, Klopman, you just those little half-tenths here and there quicker than Fluke. They come through here. Once again, on the brakes, turn in. You can see the car behind Fluke just getting that front end rise right up. Always been a feature here in touring car racing. As they plunge downhill once again. So as I was saying earlier, how you use your car and use your tyres is going to be crucial in this race. And Fluke trying to get the run off the last corner. That's the best opportunity, causing Hawkin to take a tighter line. Hawkin goes up over the curb, but Fluke not able to take advantage so far. McQueen and Sedgwick further back. They've swapped places now. We'll have a look back at this on replay. It's down into turn 1. And Sedgwick, is he going to go around the outside? No, he gets the cutback. Oh, that gets up on the grass as well. McQueen, the back end just slid out a little bit on him. As we go back to live pictures now, they've slowed each other down slightly. But Sedgwick is only 2.2 seconds behind the lead Gaggle. So he's got every opportunity here. As you can see from this camera here, 10 minutes of the race done. And pretty much the entire field on camera right there through turn 1 and 2. See this queue of traffic at the front and then another queue of 4. And Garcia battling away with Caballo. And in front of them, Halliburton. He's battling away with Pinto and also with McQueen. So McQueen's just losing track of Jack Sedgwick in front of him. Pinto properly launched his car up over the hill. They're the right-hander. Looking ahead, Fluke, he is closer than he's been all race. Can he take advantage? He doesn't quite have the run at the final corner. So he's going to have to just stay in line. The thing is, he's going to have to think of something different soon. Klopman, little bump from behind. Fluke won't appreciate that from Cohen. Through the left and then the right, get on the power. Klopman, you can see just a face full of the rear of Fluke's car. Up over the rise. Penultimate corner. Leader has pulled away slightly. Brandon Hawkin has pulled away a few tenths on this lap with Fluke and Klopman just battling slightly. That's allowed Hawkin to just pull away. At the final corner, and across the line they go once again. It just shows how difficult overtaking is, especially when you got some of the best drivers here in iRacing competing in this one. I mean, Jamie Fluke, World Championship license holder, competed in the Porsche Esports Super Cup this season. Had some really good results in that as well. But not only that, you've got Jack Sedgwick, 7,000 I rating. You've got a couple of drivers, or 3 drivers with 6,000 I rating. So good strength of field here. Roque Garcia as well with a 7,000 I rating. So really good, strong figures here as they go through this penultimate corner once again. Fluke will be focusing ahead. He won't want to get too caught up with what Klopman is doing here. And I was behind Lockwood now, putting the pressure on. Down into turn 1. And Mulas, is he going to lose the position? Around the outside, can Lockwood make this one stick? If he can, that'll be a sensational move. Lockwood has the inside for the next corner, and he does it! Great stuff from Brian Lockwood there. We'll have a look back at that on replay right about now. And it's all about the run at the final corner. If you could get the run here, we're on the board with the wrong car there, get the run out the final corner, and then it's down into that first corner, and he just held it. He was far enough ahead going into the first part, that first turn, that when they got through to the second part, they were side by side, and well, Mulas had to give up the position in the end. So great stuff from Brian Lockwood. He's got his sight sets now, looking forward to Cohen Klopman, because Mulas now has been caught by Jack Sedgwick. Sedgwick on an absolute charge. Fastest lap of the race, 53.415 for Sedgwick. So all of a sudden, as we're reaching the halfway point of the race, things are starting to pick up. as Cedric has shown that he can overtake here, but it is really difficult. We've not seen as many overtakes as we have seen in the past. Cedric just runs a bit wide through this corner. That costs him a little bit of time, a little bit of speed as they go uphill through the penultimate corner once again. Final corner on board with Cedric. What can he do? Mullis already has lost one position on the start of the last lap. He's not going to lose a position here as they come into turn number 1. This queue of cars still together. Pinto side by side with Halliburton. That's Halliburton making the move then forward. Up into 8th place now for Halliburton. So Kane Halliburton making moves forward. And it was down into turn number 1. Garcia and Cabello as well behind them. Pretty close together. Say pretty close together. The nose to tail here. Up over the top of the rise. And through, dust hanging in the air as these drivers kick up the dirt. As they come downhill once again. Final corner. Halfway through the race then, here in today's race, and we'll show you top 8 then. So it's Brandon Hawken, Jamie Fluke, Cohen Klopman, Brian Lockwood, Mullis and Cedric are your top 6, covered by 1.5 seconds, and a little gap, Scott McQueen, Kane Halliburton. Round out your top 8 as we got side by side. Halliburton trying to get past McQueen. They're almost door banging. In fact, they are door banging. Here comes Pinto now, trying to take advantage, and all of a sudden, these drivers are getting caught up by the drivers behind. And all of a sudden Halliburton goes from attacking to now defending and possibly losing a position, and contact up over the top of the hill. Off goes McQueen. Absolute nightmare. That's allowed Cabello to go through. Pinto is there with him as well. Garcia is there. They're 2 by 2 here. Well, we saw what happened to McQueen. Fluke is dropping down the order as well. We'll have a look at what's happened to him very shortly. I don't want to miss this though, because 3 wide into turn number 1. This can't work, fellas. It is though. Oh, he's very defensive there. It's the 12 car of Cabello. And through the gut, through the left, and they're still side by side. Oh, and contact, Cabello goes off. I want to look back at what happened to Jamie Fluke though, find out what's happened here. He was in 2nd place, so through in towards turn number 1, I imagine. And what happens here, let's find out. We'll have a look back at the other battle very shortly. Klopman got into the side of Fluke there. Fluke runs wide onto the grass. That drops him down. And then all manners of nonsense took on here as these drivers carried on. It was Cabello here trying to get alongside, and then it's just a quarter panel. It's the dreaded quarter panel for Cabello, and that puts him all the way down to 14th place. Scott McQueen is out of the race here. We'll look to the front because Brandon Hawken now has an 0.8 of a second lead over Brian Lockwood. Cohen Klopman, out of all of that, Klopman is still in 3rd place. Fluke's at the back of this queue of traffic as we're going to turn number 1 once again. This race has flown by for me. Great stuff as always. A little bit too rough in a couple of places, but always exciting racing here on Friday Night Primetime here on the iRacing Esports Network. Don't forget, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you follow us on Twitch. Of course, this broadcast being shown on YouTube and Twitch here tonight, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, iRacing Esports Network, or just make sure you click the follow button on Twitch to keep up to date with all the action that happens, including the Thrustmaster iRacing World Rallycross Championship, which is coming up tomorrow. And if you like close action, action-packed racing, well, if you like this, you'll love the Rallycross. Great action as always in that. Johnny Simon and Randy Cheneth could join those two for the Rallycross. Oh, Sedgwick getting into the back of the 11. And Mulas getting bullied a little bit here. And it's slowing each other down here. That's allowing Klopman, Lockwood and Hawkins to pull away. Through the right-hander, Sedgwick better line. Carried a little bit more speed. You can see that. You can make a move into this penultimate corner, but it really slows you down for the final corner and the pit straight. So you've got to be basically last lap lunge into that penultimate corner. Down the pit straight once again. These two close together. Fluke just behind them. And Sedgwick getting closer and closer to the back of Mulas. Through the first turn into this left-hander, the only left-hander here at Lime Rock Park, other than when you use the chicane layout, of course, but that's besides the point. Through the kinks there, into the right, up over the hill. Once again, you can see them getting there. Sedgwick runs onto the grass though. That's going to compromise him on the exit, so that's not going to quite work for him. Look to the front though, because all of a sudden Hawkins coming under pressure from Brian Lockwood. Hawkins just can't get away at all. Lockwood closing up. Look at those times he's been closing up by into turn 1. Now we've seen Lockwood make a move around the outside of turn 1. Not close enough, not got enough of an overlap to make that work this time. But Lockwood, with the final 10 minutes of this race remaining, is making his intentions known. And Hawkins has done a fantastic job at the front of this race. Really has got a job on now, keeping Lockwood behind as we head into the final part of this race. This is where the tyres will start to just feel like they're going off just a little bit. These cars quite aggressively set up, so you will use up your tyres a bit in a half-hour race through the final corner. Down a pit straight once again. What can Lockwood do? He's got the draft. Can he make the move stick? You can see the back end of Lockwood's car just moving about under braking. He means business here. And he's giving it absolutely everything. Is the man from Florida. Through the right. Onto the power, up over the curb. Use all the track that's available. Try not to get on the grass and the dirt though, because you will end up slowing yourself down. Through the right, penultimate corner. Look at how close Lockwood is getting now. It's almost touching the leader through the final corner. Now this could compromise. You want a little gap going out that final corner, but now look, Lockwood, he's got the move, he's got the opportunity. What is he doing? They're almost touching each other, quarter panel each other, down the pit straight, around the outside again. Will he make this work twice in this one race? He needs to hold on, but here comes Colin Klopman now. He's taking an advantage of it, down the outside of the left. It's not quite worked out for Cohen. Lockwood now back on the attack here on Hawkins. And all of a sudden, your front five, well, there's a second covering the top five again in this race. Absolute neck-and-neck stuff. It's what you come to expect from Friday Prime Time here with this IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Series. Of course, if you are on iRacing, and you want to compete in this series, I thoroughly recommend it. It's great racing. It's a front-wheel drive car. Don't let that put you off. We get great racing like this. There's close action between Sedgwick and Mulas. Mulas isn't giving this one up. Sedgwick has got a fight on here as they battle for 5th place and quarter panel into each other. Jamie flipped. Oh, he almost, I think he did just slightly tag him as he went off there. Sedgwick, though, dropping down to 6th place. I think, I want to see that again on replay. Mulas, I think, as Sedgwick has dropped right down. So I think Mulas just came across a little bit too soon. We'll have a look at this run board. Run board with Sedgwick. Look to your right. Mulas, the pink car. Oh, they both came in towards each other. And yes, Fluke did just tag Sedgwick at the end there. Nothing that Fluke could do. Anyway, battle for the lead. 5.5 minutes remaining in this one. Lockwood touching doors with Hawkin, and around goes Hawkin, does he? Well held from Brennan, but into the lead goes Brian Lockwood. Fantastic stuff now. Klopman trying to get involved in this one. I want to have a look at what Hawkin did there into turn number 1. Down the pit straight. I mean, Lockwood, they're almost touching doors. In fact, they were rubbing into turn number 1 on the brakes. And, oh, well held Hawkin. That would have been a heart-in-mouth moment for him. Time is running out, though. 4.5 minutes. But I feel that Lockwood now has got the advantage and is pulling away from Hawkin across the line. I don't think Hawkin would appreciate the aggression that was shown from Lockwood. Rubbing doors down the straight. It's not really needed here. You don't need to be rubbing doors down the pit straight. But anyway, through the left. And now Hawkin, just get the feeling he's maybe used his tyres up, pushing at the front of the field here. He's now coming under attack from Colin Klopman. Klopman has not had the best of luck here on Friday prime time. He's in for a podium finish at the moment. He could end up getting himself a decent 2nd place here. Lockwood is away. He's pulling away. 7 tenths, 8 tenths ahead in the lead. Down to turn number 1 once again. Last lap was 3 tenths faster than 2nd place for Brian Lockwood. So Lockwood, I feel, unless he makes a mistake, the lead is his to lose. But it's his battle for 2nd place now that's on. Hawkin, Klopman, Fluke and Mulas are there. Ken Halliburton 7 seconds behind this battle. Through the right-hander, up over the hill. Penultimate corner once again. Fluke just gets on the curb behind Klopman there. That pushed him a little bit wide over the exit curb. Down the pit straight once again, and they've just spread out just that little bit here as they head into turn number 1. Now Jack Sedgwick down in 10th place. He'll be an angry young man in there, and he'll be wanting to get as far forward as possible into turn number 1. Down the inside, Garcia can't really fight that one off, and so Sedgwick makes it through into 9th place there. I'll be gutted, Will Jack, with that incident. But back to your lead battle then. And Klopman, I just feel he's not quite got the pace enough to beat Hawkin. Hawkin's now a 2nd behind your race leading Brian Lockwood as they go across the line once again. Although saying that, Hawkin matched the lead this time into turn number 1. Klopman makes the move on Hawkin. Hawkin sort of got spooked out of that one. They're side by side through turn number 1. Here we go into the left-hander. Klopman's got to be careful not to let Fluke in on this one. Oh, a little bit of contact between the two of them. Fluke having a few sort of connections problems there, it seemed. A little bit of a connection issue there for him. And that's just spread them out again. Unfortunate timing there for Jamie to get that little bit of a flicker. But these things can happen in sim racing. Back to Sedgwick, 9th place. He's putting the pressure on Daniel Araujo. Fighting all the way to the end is Jack Sedgwick. Comes out the final corner, much better run out of there. Down the pit straight. That's going to be another place, up into 8th place now for Jack. But with less than a minute remaining, these drivers, they're getting towards the end of this one. There'll be 2 laps, I reckon, by my reckoning, left in this one. And Klopman putting the pressure back on that 2nd place driver, Brandon Hawkin. Through the right, up over the curb. That's not the best line to take there going, but seems to work for him. Down the hill, we will get one more lap, so the drivers will be seeing the white flag, this time by 1 lap remaining. Hawkins defending the inside line, he has to. Klopman looking to go the long way around here, and we've seen that it can be done by Brian Lockwood, but it's not going to work this time. Time's running out for Klopman. Still close together, these 4 out there on track as they go through the right, through the kinks. Time running out, opportunities running out for Klopman. It's going to have to be a very brave move for Klopman to make it past now into 2nd place, but we'll look to the front because at the penultimate corner for the final time, Brian Lockwood is pulled out a 3-second lead at the end here. At the final corner, and Brian Lockwood is going to be a winner at Lime Rock Park in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. Across the line, what a result for Brian. Across the line for 2nd place is Brandon Hawkin. Great stuff from Brandon to hold on to 2nd. It could have been so much more for him. He will be disappointed. And then the rest of your field coming through. Exciting racing as always. Caballa, he'll be disappointed with 13th in the end. And Ivan Ajonas rounding out the 14 finishers here in today's race. But wow, what a race that was. Action all the way, but there's only one winner, and it's the man from Florida, Brian Lockwood, who takes the win. 3.2 seconds in the end ahead of Brandon Hawkin in 2nd place. Cole Klopman rounds out your podium with 3rd, with Jamie Fluke 4th. Alfonso Molas in 5th. He was getting involved in that fight a lot throughout this race. Had that incident with Jack Sedgwick, that's what dropped him out of 5th. Kane Halliburton, strong finish in 6th place after starting in 12th. Diogo Pinto and Jack Sedgwick then 7th and 8th. Recovery drive there from Jack, with Daniel Araujo in 9th and Roque Garcia rounding out the top 10. Alberto Rodriguez in 11th ahead of Liam McNinch, with Tony Cavallo, I'll be so disappointed with that, in 13th, with Ivan Ajonas in 14th, and then Scotty McQueen, the only non-finisher here in this race. And wow, what a thrilling race that was. Excitement, drama, action-packed. It's what you come to expect on a Friday night, really. And well, these drivers, they've put on one heck of a show, and we will certainly be looking forward to the next round of this championship. And of course, here's the schedule. Looking forward to next week. Circuit Park Zandvoort. Difficult one, of course. Round 10. Week 10 of the 12-week series for Zandvoort. And then finish off penultimate round, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And Phillip Island rounding out the series. So 2 real high-speed circuits to finish off the season. But a technical circuit in Zandvoort. Really tricky track is Zandvoort. So certainly one that these drivers will look forward to here in the coming weeks. But I'm afraid that is all that we have got time for. First of all, a quick mention, Istvan Bello, trackcams22.com. Thank you very much for the TV camera packs here for this broadcast today. And of course, don't forget Simon Grossman and of course the guys at Apgenia who bring us the ATEVO graphics package that we use, and of course Andy Werner from Anwen Designs for the graphic designs here. Of course, I've been Paul Smith. I've been doing double duty, camera work and commentary here for you tonight. But in a dramatic race, one man showed that you can overtake around the first corner. In fact, we won't end the race here because we will actually be able to have a word with our race winner, Brian Lockwood. Brian, welcome along to the winner's circle. What a race from you to end up winning that one after starting in 7th place. Talk us through that one.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what really let me win that race was the start. The outside lane had a tough start, so I was able to get Jack right off the line, and I got past Scotty within the next couple corners. So I was able to just hold on to 5th, hang on to that pack, take good care of my tires, and then start making moves later on.
And well, we saw that you were basically the only person who actually tried to make moves around the outside into turn 1. You're not only happy and content doing it once, you did it twice, and that time for the lead. I mean, that's not done around here, Brian.
Well, what can I say? I'm driving. I'm here to win. It's Lime Rock Park, and I'm just having fun.
Absolutely, and what a fun circuit it is as well. Just talk us through the challenges that you have around this track, because it's a short lap. You've got undulation here, and it's not the widest of tracks here, so overtaking is a challenge.
Oh, absolutely. The track is really bumpy, first of all, and everywhere you'd even think about making an overtake, setting one up. And of course, it is really narrow. There's no real place that you're going to get past. So you have to focus on doing something unconventional. Turn 1 around the outside worked a little bit better in the skippies. It was really difficult to make it work in the TCRs, but I was able to just set the moves up there. As long as I used all the space I was given, then it was just possible to get side by side and hold it by the next couple corners. So I was very fortunate that I had the tires and the runs out of the last corner to be able to do that.
Now, of course, we've been seeing you each and every week. I even actually raced in a race during the last week at Monza, where you had quite possibly the easiest win known to mankind in everyone battling it out at the start of the race, allowing you to get something like a 20-second lead in the end. But looking forward, how have you been finding this series as a whole to running? Because, it's great for us to watch and commentate on, but it must be fun out there driving as well.
Absolutely. The racing in this series is the most fun racing in iRacing right now. And a lot of that's due to the fact that you can bump and bang just a little bit and not have issues with your car, not suddenly be 3/10 off. Like, there were a few moments in my race where I made side-by-side contact or, just slight little bumps and bangs that in any other car would have tweaked my car, would have moved me off the pace. But in these cars, you can race as close as you possibly can, and that's just made the series fun. We have been struggling a little bit in particularly tight tracks, short tracks like this one. So I'm really proud of the team Racecraft Esports getting us up to speed here, and special thanks to Kane, who really was the driving force behind this setup.
Well, I was about to ask if there anyone you want to thank, but you already beat me to it. But, Brian, congratulations on the win here on Friday Prime Time, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week, hopefully at Zandvoort.
Thanks, Paul.
So that's Brian Lockwood then, your race winner. And, we've got a veritable smorgasbord of drivers joining us here. We're not used to seeing this on Friday Prime Time, but joining us now, second place, led most of the race, Brandon Hawken. Brandon, that was a tough old race, was that one, because you had a queue of traffic all behind you just chomping at the bit from the get-go.
Paul, this is
that's
Brian.
Brandon. Let's bring in Brandon here. Let's bring in. There we go. Right. So Brandon, thank you very much, Brian. Yeah, Brandon, talking about the start here. You're at the front, and you had just a queue of cars behind you all the way through that race. How challenging was it to stay focused and try and keep in the lead here?
Hey Paul, man, that was crazy. I nailed my Q lap, but in the race for race pace, I felt like I was just a little bit slower than everybody else behind me. So, yeah, that was crazy. Luckily at Lime Rock, there aren't too many passing opportunities. Really, the main spot is going into turn one, so I just held the inside line going into one when I felt a lot of pressure, and it worked for a long time. And then, yeah, I just unfortunately got passed by Brian there, but that was a hell of a fight. That was amazing.
Well, that's it. Drivers behind kept on, trying to put pressure on him, thinking of Jamie Fluke mainly, but then he got involved with Cohen, and then people come through and give you a bit of a break, and then lo and behold, they catch back up to you, and then you're having to defend again. It's a crazy old race, but second place though here today. How was the car? Were you maybe using the front tyres a little bit more? Was the setup not quite perfect for the conditions here today?
Yeah, it might have been just a tad tight. I felt like definitely in the last 10 laps I was fighting for my life to stay ahead of everybody, but yeah, that was definitely the best setup I've run in TCR for sure. And yeah, I gotta thank Tanner McCullough and Setups for iRacing for that. That was the setup was pretty much top notch today, so that was a lot of fun.
And of course, it shows that all these drivers that come in here today are all saying the same thing. It's been so much fun, and that's been the theme of this series all the way through. And you're getting some really high-end drivers coming into the series.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially in these broadcasted races, the strength of field's nuts, and yeah, it's just like you get a lot of iRacing's top talent, and it makes for an amazing race with these cars.
Well, of course, Zandvoort is the next circuit. What's your thoughts on that? Because that's another technical circuit, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I've actually never driven Zandvoort, so I'll have to get going on that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next week for sure, and yeah, see if we can learn the track before next week.
Well, before we let you go, then, is there anyone you want to give a quick mention to whilst you're here?
Oh, of course, yeah, Setups for iRacing for the setup, and of course my teammates at Thrustmaster Movano Racing. Thanks for having me on board, and yeah, just everybody we raced with today. That was a heck of a lot of fun for sure.
Well, thank you very much.
And you guys, of course.
Well, thank you. I've been on my own all broadcast, so it's been talking to myself. They say that it's a sign of madness, but anyway, we'll move on. But thank you very much, Brandon, for joining us here for an interview, and all the best.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank you.
That was Brandon Hawkin then, and well, we're going to finish off the podium then. Cohen Klopman. Cohen, that was an interesting race for you. You started second place, ended up in third, but there was plenty that happened in between that, really, wasn't there?
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, I got passed at the start by Jamie, but like that move has been done by, on me like maybe 3 times this week. I mean, it's really unfortunate because I don't have triples, so I mean, I need to stay behind a bit to like see the car in pole position, and then he's like, yeah, I get like freight trained in turn 1, so I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, on the on the chat, but yeah, I mean that happens.
Yeah, we'll apologise for the industrial language there, but anyway, we'll move on swiftly, avoiding that. But we told, well, Jamie, of course, we saw he was trying his best to get past Brandon in the early stages of the race, and then you seemed to come down the inside. And I mean, was there a slight little bit of a touch there into turn 1, or was it just unfortunate how things turned out there?
I think the latter. I was not even planning on making the move, but he didn't defend, and I was gaining a bit on the straight, and I saw a gap, and I was like, well, it's really hard to overtake here, so that's maybe my only chance I could get. Yeah, unfortunate. I think we made a little bit of ghost contact, or like my rear quarter panel drifted out, and he got like decked or something, which sent him wide, which was unfortunate. But yeah, things happen
Well, I asked Brian about his thoughts on this season. What have been your thoughts this season? How do you think it's gone? First season of the TCR car here in iRacing.
It's a bit about the tire model, I think. I mean, people just you need to nail your qualifying lap to even do well in these races. It's all about qualifying and how much you warm up the tires. And we had a discussion on the race chat before qualifying about like what's legal and what can we do, what can we do not. And I do burnouts, you know. I mean, I think everyone does, and if it's illegal or not, I don't know.
Well, I mean, any way that you can get heat into the tyres is crucial, especially with this new tyre model. But with 3 weeks to go, then coming up next week at Zandvoort, and then we've got Mosport and Phillip Island rounding out the championship. How have you felt you've done this season in the TCR?
Well, it's always really close in these TCR cars, and it's really based on luck also about what the other guys are doing in qualifying then. But I think I've done pretty well. I mean, I think I've made some good setups, and I've been up there. Going to Zandvoort, of course, my home track. I'm really looking forward to that one. Hopefully a bit more overtaking also into maybe the first corner and all around the track. We'll see.
Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick mention to here?
I would like to thank you guys for broadcasting, actually. That's it.
Well, thank you very much, Cohen, and it's always a pleasure having you join us here in the commentary booth after a race, but well done on the podium position.
Thank you.
So that is going to be all that we have time for here in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Friday night prime time from Lime Rock Park. And I'll try wrapping up this race once again. What a race it was. Brandon Hawkin getting away early on. A little bit of shenanigans behind him, and then Brian Lockwood making 2 audacious moves around the outside into turn 1, which got him the win in the end. Congratulations to Brian Lockwood on the win here today, but don't forget that is not all the action over and done with here on the iRacing Esports Network, because tomorrow we have the Thrustmaster iRacing World Rallycross Championship. It's going to be some absolutely awesome racing there tomorrow. And we've got a few surprises. We've got a few surprises in fact of drivers being able to attend when they thought they weren't going to be able to. So we'll talk more about that in tomorrow's broadcast. Of course, that race is going to be coming to you from Iowa once again. Join Jonathan Simon and Randy Cheneth from 6 p.m. GMT for all the action there. And don't forget as well, the 24-hour series esports championship, otherwise known as Neo Endurance Series, from Circuit of the Americas, Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. GMT. Make sure you join Connery, David Haynes, and of course the one and only Mr. Will Vincent for that one. But that's all from me here today. Paul Smith bringing you all the action on the iRacing Esports Network for Friday prime time. Thank you very much for watching, and it's good night from Lime Rock.